Nice. This hero feels so fun right now. You guys playing any Clockwork lately? Any position 5 Clockwork players in the chat? This hero feels amazing at the moment. Like, so strong. I feel like I can do stuff the whole game. Throw out hook shots. The laning's good. Good combo in lane, and you can go for kills. Bad combo in lane. You have control over the camps using cogs and battery cell. Like, people can't contest you. It just feels like you can do everything. And now you have BKB piercing versus Enigma just in case he ever gets there.
And eventually you get that sweet agonyms. Sweet
That
agonyms.
Eggs is really fun. I also was playing around with the shard last night for the first time in a while, and it's kind of bad, but it is fun. I'm not gonna
It's
lie.
no,
I think
the
Shard's
shard is
great.
actually great. Yeah, the shard. Clock, I love playing. I think it's one of the easiest heroes to boost your MMR with. Not
Yeah.
versus Beastmaster though. Like
No.
he hates playing versus any summons.
I'll say my issue with the shard is that I want the other items so bad that I have a hard time justifying the gold. Because I'm looking like I want a 4-staff, I want the eggs. Sometimes I want like a spirit vessel or something. But the jetpack is pretty fun.
Just shard ags, man. That's the way to go. Like you just shard ags every single game. I'm not kidding. Don't laugh at that.
Like if I could choose, like if I had to choose a build on Clockwork that I have to go every single game, that would be it. I would get
that's
Axe on
fair.
Shard. Yeah, like Power Threads Axe Shard, I'm happy. But this Enigma, it looks like she's been relegated to some 4, perhaps. I'm not even sure any longer. It looks like some tiny mid Beastmaster offlane Enigma 4 CM5. Or do you guys have a different idea?
No, that definitely looks right.
Yeah.
So Enigma Beast, is that their way of dealing with Clock? Just literally swarm him, and there's no way he wins the lane. It's a very interesting lane. I haven't seen this before. Because Beast is not a hero you necessarily leave solo in lane until a little bit forward, right? So Enigma can't really do the greedy thing.
Yeah, it's
he might be slightly involved a little bit, right? Like with the Eidolons, like you said, and I could see it working out. It is hard for Clockwork to contest that, even with the double damage on the battery assault.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. Isn't Monkey King good versus this matchup though? Because he can bound strike the creeps and actually hit the Eidolons and even the boars and stuff.
Yep. Yep. And it doesn't have to be Clock there, right? Like it could be your Monkey and Viper. And then Clock plus some offlane picked up last for Navi. They're still pretty flexible with their heroes. So
yeah,
we'll see. They can pretty much do whatever with these 4.
Navi are lacking a little bit in terms of like actual tower and objective pressure, though, compared to Rune Eaters. Rune Eaters can just like take your structures if they get a bit of a lead, which is nice. Navi don't really have that. Navi probably going for the mid Zeus, I imagine, at this point.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like, and to me, no one has been really popping off on those initiator heroes. So that to me puts a little bit more pressure on like the Clockwork and the Monkey King, and then maybe maybe they miss a couple plays. No one's not there to carry you through. This could be a good sign for Rune Eaters.
Sure. But no one's on a win condition if he's on the Zeus, right? So then there's also the scalability for no one to the late game, so no one will just become relevant a little bit later, if that is a mid Zeus.
And he also had some really good Zeus games, so I wouldn't be surprised. There's like sky's the limit with this guy. When it comes to the damage, that is at least. What do you go for? Do you go for some built-in? You don't go for built-in BKB, right? Jug already banned out. Lifestealer not that great.
V-Tune's been loving the Lifestealer lately. Saw 2 games of that in their last 2 wins. That was pretty solid.
2 BKB piercers though, right? Like Roar and Enigma.
No.
They go with Jakiro. Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, so still not giving a lot away, right? Like most likely this is your Monkey Jakiro safe lane, Clockwork Viper offlane, Zeus mid. That's how it the simplest to lane, right? But
yeah.
So then what is the hero against the Viper? I mean, now Lifestealer looks a little bit more desirable, but still that hero looks,
versus Viper here for Rune Eaters, I'd assume something that could actually trade with him, right? Like something ranged would be quite decent.
Okay,
I'm not
so
sure.
like,
Never mind. But there's some range you can blink, I guess.
I mean, getting close to the Viper is the way to deal with him in lane. There is actually a lot of strategies that just rely on pressuring the Viper constantly. But Anti-Mage is terrible. As a hero, I mean, not here.
Yeah, they don't have a lot.
He's gonna get hook shot and then Nether Toxin, and he's gonna get blown up by no one.
Yeah.
Like, he's just going to lose his passive and he's going to get exploded.
Yep. I can see it happening, but one good thing is he is playing versus this Zeus, right? So if he gets on top of him, he can dish out a ton of damage. If he chooses his fights correctly, he can carry this game. But I don't see that happening. Like, I'm just not a big fan of the hero, and I don't see him. It's not like the perfect AM game in which he has 3 targets to jump on and destroy them.
Well, as someone who often plays with people much, much better than them at Dota, I know the situation where this happens, where it's the last pick, and the guy who's supposed to be carrying my stack is like, oh my god, what do I pick? They usually go for 3 heroes. They either pick Invoker, Alchemist, or Anti-Mage. So, you know,
What position is he playing?
maybe he can do it.
Okay. All right. Not much belief from the panel in Rune Eater's draft, but as we know, this game is very close. So let's see if Rune Eaters can take game number 1, and we go over to our casters, which I would like to ask a simple question: how are you doing today, Mike?
Oh, thank you so much for asking, Mr. Avo. I'm doing fantastic, Avo. Thank you for asking. For once, somebody actually asked me. It is MLP Dota and johnxfire. Jonathan, welcome back. I wanted to help the panel out a little bit before we did get going with our, quote-unquote cast. You heard them talking about the anti-mage, John. You heard them kind of dancing around the topic, trying to come up with a nice way of saying it. Allow me to say it in the Southeast Asian way, Jonathan. AM, it's a trash hero. That's all they needed to say. Literal trash.
I knew exactly what you were going to say. It's not amazing. We haven't seen a lot of successful AM. Navi already getting a rundown here.
Absolutely. Arrow's going to be in big trouble already, and looks like he is set to fall as Navi, off to a very strong start already. Given that first blood away to V-Tune of all things of the Monkey King as well. Like, really nice start for the POS1 MK, and it's tough, right? Like, Rune Eaters, they're already, arguably the underdogs going into this. Navi, obviously, the stronger team when you look at the score lines and the groups, and, well, it's not a great start for them either, John.
Yeah, it's not going to be feeling good. V-Tune's going to have a nice, easy build up into whatever he wants. Looks like he's queuing up power treads into Midas. So going for a really greedy build up. Midas going in. We've seen a couple of Battle Fury Monkey Kings in other regions, of course, but Midas not as much. I'm keen to see if V-Tune's timing is going to be on point. Of course, the attack speed's always nice. EXP is always nice in Monkey King. It still leads to a relatively even 2-for-2 start, as V-Tune isn't able to snipe away. We'll have to see, though. Like, it does still feel like, as you said, AM's going to have a pretty tough time. It's not the most amazing hero here, Mike. The side lanes as well just feel pretty darn good. Like, what does the AM Enigma lane do? They were talking about the potential of Beastmaster Tiny, but Beastmaster Enigma, but
I like
Enigma AM is, I mean, you can deny, you can block off with battery assault, but it feels pretty passive.
I like what Sweden Strong's doing already as well, right? Because once you get that level 2 battery assault up, this Enigma just can't do anything. Like, you get the Eidolons, sure, you can kind of survive with having those Eidolons around you because they're going to share the battery assault, but that does mean the clock's just going to farm the Eidolons, like, non-stop. Just free XP, free gold to go his way, and I agree with you, John. What does AM Enigma actually do in the top lane? Well, the answer is seemingly nothing right now, especially when you're up against the Clock Viper lane of all things, and as you're seeing, TA2000 and Arrow not going to have the greatest of times at the top lane, I'm sure. So, John, we should have a look at the other lanes while we have a chance as well. Of course, over down at the bot lane, you're going to have Kaori and Funnick, of course, playing the Beastmaster CM against Solo on the Jakiro and V-Tune on that POS1 Monkey King. And, John, if I may add as well, I do kind of appreciate the Midas build up on V-Tune this game around because you are up against the Beastmaster, who is going to go into the Helm of the Dominator. It does at least give you a nice way of denying the creep off in the middle of a team fight per se before you see that Helm of the Overlord coming up.
Yeah, it can be useful in that scenario. I feel like you have enough clear, though, with Zeus AoE damage. The Jakiro kind of takes care of a lot of those summons. So maybe a bit excessive, but, if V-Tune's timing is good, you can just kind of snowball up. Maybe you're expecting just to have this strong start in lanes. Like, Funnick does go for the Axis build. It's a CM partnership. You can try to play down line when you've got the Boars up with a Crystal Nova slow and try to harass that way, but you have a Jakiro just constantly spitting fire. Like, you can't even run
Arrow. Look at this, John. Arrow. He's trying to run, but there's no running. That'll be the clockwork to take a kill there, and It's just too easy. Like, Sweden strong on the clock. He's gonna have the easiest game of his life. Like, your supports are Enigma Crystal Maiden against the Clockwork. What the hell are they meant to do?
Not much. I think they're just going to be a bit of cannon fodder here. I think the hope for Rune Eaters is that they buy enough space out for the course to get that build-up they want, get the timing they want in their Beastmaster, have this AM farming around the map, keep the lanes kind of shoved out. The last lane, of course, that we haven't really looked at is that mid. No one up against Haze on the Zeus versus Tiny matchup. Really good lane for no one to work on. Range advantage, you've got great nuking potential. You've got an escape in the Heavenly Jump, so even just walking up for Avalanche Toss isn't that easy for Haze to do. And no one should have some pretty good timings. Lots of importance in rune control here as well.
Yeah, Kaori, he's going to drop here, John, on the CM, and I don't think that's going to be the last time either. Pretty rough lane already down to the bot side as well here. Look at this, Funnick. He's trying to run. Vichune's going to get so much damage off along with Solo. Even as the Beastmaster, you're going into Monkey King Jakiro, John. It's not a fun time for Funnick whatsoever.
Yeah, and they're losing resources across the map. TA2000's Courier gets sniped, delivering out the Ring of Health. Gonna stall out some timings there, stall out some regen. And it's just every lane looking great for Na'Vi right now. None of the cores of Rune Eaters are really finding too much farm. Funnick's kind of close to the Viper farm, but the comparison between No One and Haze, it's a huge disparity. 10 CS up for the Zeus. He's going to hit level 6 faster. Global threat of just ganking around. Even the early level 3 timing for Sweden Strong onto the mid's going to be pretty scary for Tiny to kind of deal with. So I think Navi's just managed to secure that early start they want. And for Rune Eaters, they're going to have to try to hold back. Maybe, again, once you have that Helm for the Overlord, or at least the Dominator timing here for Funnick, you can start to play with the push potential of your lineup along with the Enigma Eidolons. But the wave clearing from Na'Vi, just it doesn't feel like that's even going to be a threat.
Yeah. It's a rough time, John. I think that's the way to put it right now here for Rune Eaters. But yeah, they try and catch up in this game. It's, we've just started. It's only 3-0 right now. Do agree, though, like, no one's going to be a massive issue on this mid Zeus. Just the freest game of his life, freest lane of his life right now. Looking across the lanes, there goes your CM once again. Kaori just can't survive. Vichune just picks him off with the Boundless, and it's a CM jump. Crystal Maiden, it's meant to be a lane dominant kind of support, but if you have this bad of a start, it's not going to get much easier as now Funnick, he's going to go for a run, but he might just drop, and he will. John, that Midas timing, it's going to be real nice here for Vichune. It doesn't seem like it's going to take him too long.
Now he's about 800 gold away. I'd expect that in maybe next 2 to 3 minutes. Gonna feel great for the Monkey King to just have that added attack speed, be able to clear out the Boris early on, clear out the Dominator down line, as you mentioned here, Mike. 5-0 start for Na'Vi at 5 minutes in, and their lanes are just going really good. I think the idea from Rune Eaters running the CM now is maybe sustaining this Axis build out from Funnick. He even has an early Basilius just to keep that Axis spam out, so you can try to whittle down the side of Na'Vi. But again, you're not playing with a slow potential. You're not able to really use Crystal Nova with the Boris all too well. Kaori's going to have a rough time even just farming the brown boots. And even your AM lane still off to a slow start. 16 CS right now for TA2000. Double almost on Lace. Like, this Viper has such a free lane. Level 5 already. It's just going to be such a massive threat. You don't want to go up in the counterspell early on for that AM. So every time he shows up, the threat of just a Viper strike is going to be scary for him.
Sweden Strong, John, on that Clockwork, rotating over. Won't be able to secure the power rune here for his mid, but he does get the cogs up now, so he can try to go for the kill as No One is going to join him, but I don't think they'll have quite enough damage here. Still, No One's going to go for a try. Doesn't have the lightning strike to throw out, so the damage is lacking, but, well, Haze, he'll be just fine to walk away this time, and luckily for him, does have a regen rune, so he'll be able to remain in the lane. Meanwhile, bottom lane, though, Funnick, not going to be so lucky as No One does go ahead and secure the kill in quotation marks as the Zeus. Really takes you back, John. If one thing doesn't change in Dota, it's the fact that your Zeus will always press R when unnecessary.
Yeah, it's definitely not needed there. But wants to kill. The Zeus wants a piece of that action as well. Figures they've gotten enough kills on Vichune. 4-0-1 on that Monkey King. Midas timing about to come out here, Mike. So going to snowball really hard now on the Monkey. Get levels up.
Dead.
Arrow not safe.
Yeah, he's dead,
Yeah,
John.
nah.
Yeah. No chance. You can't position like that. Like, you just can't. Viper Clockwork against Pos 5 Enigma, you cannot be standing like that. You'll get caught out every single time. And Sweden Strong, he's got the Tranquils up, John. He's, yeah, bot lane. They'll go for a bit of a fight. Solo, not gonna drop. Crystal Nova does not connect onto the Jakiro, so Solo is just fine, and there's still one kill yet to be picked up here by Rune Eaters. Back to my point though on Sweet and Strong, Jonathan. The clockwork with Tranquils up this early on, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, he just runs you down. You could maybe use the Malefice, but that's a pretty long cooldown to commit. I mean, it's timed. It's enough to time around for the clockwork. It's not something you can completely be shut down by. Rune Eater's still going for a smoke play. They've got the left fields on Haze here.
7.5 minute minus here, John, for the Monkey King. That's I realize there's a smoke rotation going on here onto the Viper. Lace, good game sense to back off for a bit, but Haze is going to move in as TA2000 blinks to the right side. I don't know. But what was that? I guess he misclicked his blink? Haze didn't go for a toss either?
Yeah.
What was that?
I thought they'd go for the toss back. They had the Malefice ready. They could have tried to commit onto the Viper. Maybe they figured there's a lack of damage with Avalanche. I'm not sure.
He smells the CM here, John. This is the dream for a clockwork. You see that Crystal Maiden, you rush towards him. Not while Haze is around, though. Avalanche is going to fly out onto the clock, but he's still just fine.
Huh?
He's got Tranquil still active here, John. He's perfectly fine.
Yeah, no toss back as well. Not making that move forward, not taking the risk to give that opportunity out to no one on the Zeus to maybe zap him down. This passiveness from Rune Eaters, it just doesn't feel great. You're 7-0, 4K lead out for Navi. The map space is going to shrink shortly once the side of Navi feels like they can go for a push with their Jakiro, and that time is coming out soon. Your start is just not going well. Dominator timing for Funix is going to be thrown off. The Battle Fury timing for TA2000 is going to be a little bit slower than you'd like, and Navi's just on the aggressive once more.
I think saying a little bit slower, John, is putting it lightly here for TA2000. I mean, he's 2.9k net worth right now, and he's got the hand up. Tips out from Sweet and Strong. I'm not sure who wins that kind of battle, John, but it does seem like Navi, the happier team right now, as you look at top lane. Arrow's just been left alone here on the Enigma. They know they're just going to rush him. They know he's there. He even gets unlucky with the damn shovel. He gets a creep. He just can't win. Arrow gets caught out. They even cancel a TP. Oh, boy. It's rough. It's a rough start for Rune Eaters, Jonathan. 8-0 4K advantage now to Navi. Oh, Kaori. Yeah, he's running to V-Tune here, Jonathan. Luckily, no Boundless available. There is a wand available for V-Tune, but he doesn't want to pop it yet. In fact, they are going to surround. He might be the first death here, and he will be. They catch out the Monkey King. That's a great pick-off for Rune Eaters.
And it's a massive kill. 4 of the kills, half the kills of Navi, riding on that Monkey King. Pretty good streak to get. And that allows them to rest easy just a bit. There's still a massive deficit they have to work on, but at the least that allows Haze to rack up the gold towards that blink, start to look for that threat to initiate for the team, set up, start to play with the burst damage they could have, and get some momentum going their way. They're going to need a couple more of those kinds of pickoffs though, Mike, but they are starting to get a shove in down bot. Funnick, again, very close to his Dominator now, can start threatening lanes.
Oh, Black Hole! It's been committed. He's going to get this kill, I think. Sweden, he will drop, but V-Tune's going to go for a chase. Won't be able to secure the kill. Arrow will get away. Very unfortunate there for the Clockwork, John. No battery assaults actually connecting on the Enigma. I believe he was actually close enough to hit one of those, but it seemed to prioritize the Eidolons.
Yeah, he was surrounded by a lot of Eidolons, and that's something the panel pointed out, right? Like, you don't necessarily enjoy going up against those summons. They did manage to position themselves properly, at least Arrow did manage to do so, and get some punishment. Navi, again, they can't afford to be too aggressive, but despite that death, they still increase their lead to 5k. They've got time for the defense down bot now.
Yeah, funny. He's going to be in trouble. He'll try to go for a push, but hook shot right on target from Sweet and Strong. Another kill to go the way of Navi. Sure, it's going to be important for that Beastmaster to try and secure this. Kaori? Kaori's just gone for it. He's like, screw this, I'll do it. Denied off by Solo. Sweden wants to go for a bit of a chase here. I'm not sure if he'll keep up, but again, his movement speed is quite fast as the ice path. Woo. Right on the edge on Kaori. He would have felt that on the backside there, Jot. This is Kaori. He's still going for a run, but here comes Sweet and Strong once again. Haze is going to try and move in now and help out, but the slow is there. They really want that Crystal Maiden. Haze, though, going to move in for a toss back, potentially back onto the CM, but not finding a kill yet as the ulti from the Zeus is out. No one going to connect Haze. He's gone too far. They really wanted that Jakiro, but they're not going to find him. Solo keeps going. In fact, they finally take him down, but what does it cost? too much. There's no
Way
one.
too much.
Not able to find carry, but John, they have a rocket flare. Sweden,
Whoa.
he throws it, and he's right on
Ooh.
target. It's just not enough damage.
On the edge. Level 1 flare, not the most, so they do manage to bail out. All that effort just for a Jakir, that does not feel good for Rune Eaters, and they still lose their core Tiny in exchange. It just, as you said, Mike, way too much sacrifices being made to make these plays. At the least for Rune Eaters, it's buying space for TA2000. So your aim's farming without contestation. You know, he's working that jungle, no one's invading that jungle. You feel pretty secure. You're building up on your win condition to kind of make up for this slower Battle Fury timing. It's just not enough to put a dent in that lead. Again, Navi is still maintaining that 5k lead, or maintaining their own economy in this downtime, and the build-up is going to ramp up fast. Vichun working onto the quick Desolator into the BKB. Once he has that BKB, you're going to have to use the Roar. You're going to have to find a way to use that Black Hole. With all the counters from Navi, it just doesn't feel like the easiest game to rely on, at least that Black Hole here. You might get away with a Roar, but you're not going to have something like the Blink on Funnick for some time.
Very unusual as well for Vichun to join his team like this, but I guess he's so far ahead he kind of can. They found Haze already. They'll just lock him down and snipe him out from a mile away. Sweet and strong, he does drop, but that's a mid-tiny going down for a pos 4 Clockwork. Great trade for Na'Vi. They even find the mid-tier 1 tower while they're at it. Again, it's very kind of awkward for Vichun to join his team on the pos 1 Monkey King like this, but he's got a Midas, John. He's still top of the net worth board, and now suddenly he wants the anti-mage. TA, you'll blink away, Ice Path off the mark, and that's going to be enough for them to back off. But Vichun, I mean, I can't blame him. Why not join his team, secure a tower, and go right back to farming? Nothing changed for him.
Yeah, I mean, the Midas just kind of secures you a lot of gold and EXP in that interim period anyway. You can afford to kind of make that detour around. Just keep pressuring your map. You know you're up against an AM, you know he's behind. Make sure he doesn't ever catch up. I think that's the game plan right now for Navi. Rune Eaters, though, going for another smoke play. They've got that Blink and Haze, so they can initiate on the Tiny, start to open up the map a little bit more with some kills.
Well, they're going to try on Sweet and Strong. They can't really go for bigger pickoffs right now. They need anything they can get as a nice toss back onto the Clockwork. Is going to mean Sweet and Strong will drop. Eventually, that is. They do finally take him out. Again, Rune Eaters, it's not the greatest pickoff, and you know, it does cost them quite a few heroes to get that done, but considering the state of the game right now, you certainly just want any kill you can get at the moment.
Yeah, just try to build up, try to get some space going for yourself. They drag the lead back just slightly. 4k lead still stands for Navi. Navi just occupying that top jungle, and now Rune Eaters can play around bot. They can start to drop some wards, defend the area, get some build up of their own on the other cores outside of just the AM, and, you know, try to hit some timings. Echo Saber build up for Haze next. Funnick still going for that full Overlord. We'll at least have the Vlads relatively soon. So the build-up is starting to progress a little bit more. I think for Na'Vi, yeah, just smoke up. Just keep the aggression. Look for some counterplay. You know where they're camping now down bot. They've got a good angle to get the smoke going. Or?
They do. Na'Vi, what are they going for? Mid lane, they see TA2000. Hookshot right on the mark from Sweet and Strong. They want to just lock this man down, and look at the damage. My god, he just didn't stand a chance. They blew him up so darn quick. Nobody from Rune is able to rotate to try and help out, and now Na'Vi, they're going right down south. They don't care. They want to go for another fight. Keep in mind, you've got to blink up on the Enigma now, so Arrow, he could really turn this for Rune Eaters if he does get that right initiation, but it seems like they want to take the tier 2 tower and just try to back off, but Funnick, he has been scouted out here by Sweet and Strong, so in they go, onto the Beastmaster. Arrow, he's nearby, but he needs to blink out of there. There is no point going for a black hole. Just no follow-up damage to speak of. So Funnick will drop. Bakari, he's still around here on the CM. No one knows. The rocket flare is going to... Oh, it doesn't give vision.
Oh,
he's
no.
just within the fog there, and he's going to be fine to get himself out.
Yeah. At the very least, this time around, Kari does manage to bail out. They still lose Funnick. Big kill for Navi to take, but they've lost their tier 2. So again, Rune Eaters have managed to clear out some space on the map. They could still try to go down bot. One of their wards was taken away. Navi does have a defensive ward in place now, so it's not as easy to go back in that part of the map. But they just reoccupy their own jungle. Again, getting that build up on TA2000. He's managed to climb up here, Mike, from mid lane core to at least starting to catch up on lays. With the Battle Fury up and running, the AM can start to maybe apply that pressure on a map. You're still looking for the Manta timing, though. And once that's up, the split push can begin in earnest. So still a little bit more time for the investment in TA2000, but he has gotten space. I think Rune Eaters have managed to at least find something on the map and keep themselves within a certain timing. Aside of Navi, though, again, they just never rest. They've got the full Deso out in V-Tune. They could try to go for a Roshan after maybe looking for D-Wards, and they will. And now it's on Rune Eaters to try to show us this blink potential from Arrow. He's got to find an angle to try to black hole if they know Rosh is happening.
Oh, absolutely. Problem is, you've got to find Sweet and Strong. He's always going to have that hookshot available to just cancel that off. And, of course, no one as well with the Lightning Bolt. Going to be slightly annoying when the Black Hole is to be used up here by Rune Eaters. Na'Vi, they're getting away with a very free Roshan right now, but Rune Eaters, they are making their way over. No one with the Shadow Amulet, rather, yeah, just the Shadow Amulet just sitting in the Invis, waiting very patiently as the ulti does get committed. Wukong's command out as well. Arrow, he's been caught out. The hookshot's there. Sweet and Strong will hold them together. At least no one. He does drop to the Mana Void as V-Tune also goes down. Hazen Funnick able to take him out, and now TA2000. He's in. They've got the Viper Lace to drop as well as Solo. He's going to go for a run, but they're all going to drop, it seems. Solo's gone. And Rune Eaters, they make the team fight work somehow.
Yeah, that looked really awkward to start with. You know, jumping in, getting your Enigma caught out, and just losing that potential for the black hole. But they get a good angle in. That was a very early Wukong's drop by V-Tune when no one was inside a pit yet, so they didn't get much value from their Monkey King. And they didn't get too much value, it feels like, from Thunder Gods. A few of them were still under smoke, so you weren't able to whittle down their HP before the fight started out. And suddenly Rune Eaters equalized the game. Only a 2k lead left for Na'Vi, and all of a sudden, TA2000's top net worth. Like, you can see why the AM's good in this situation. You can jump no one, you know he's going to have a lot of mana, you know he's going to be empty a lot of the time, and you can just use him as that ticking mana bomb that AMs love to go for. So the value is starting to show itself, and with the Aegis up, Rune Eaters can kind of delay the game. This is where it gets a bit scary. Rune Eaters' push potential is really high. Again, AM split push here, Mike, along with a full Overlord on Funnick, the Eidolon spam from Arrow. They've already taken care of bot a while ago. They could look for mid. After a good fight, they could just push in top, try to invade the triangle at that point. And for Na'Vi, some of that momentum starts to shift down. They need to wait now for a couple of things. You know, BKBs are going to be key, especially on V-Tune, to not have that scenario happen again. They finished up Lace's BKB with a disassembly play on the Dragonlance, so he's going to be a little bit more protected up front, but they need to respect the output of Rune Eaters on solo control. They still have a lot of burst potential here, Mike.
I mean, you got to give props for Rune Eaters. Like, I had absolutely zero faith they were going to win that team fight, but they make it work. And well, I mean, you've got to be. I mean, like, you see the Enigma go down like that, John. You lose the black hole, you just lose so much of your team fight, and they still end up finding the Monkey King and making it work. Because now Rune Eaters, they can really get going. Only a 1k net worth lead standing for Na'Vi. Nothing to write home about as Rune Eaters. They're going to try for the high ground. They've got their helm with the Overlord timing for the Beastmaster. They can certainly get a lot of damage done to this tier 3 tower, even with just the Eidolons and the Boars behind that dominated creep, but it looks like they are going to feed it away. Get a bit of damage off. They'll accept what they get, and that'll be enough for them. Considering the position they were in 5 minutes ago, John, I'm sure Rune Eaters will be very happy. In fact, they do smoke up. Mid lane, they'll make their way over. Na'Vi, though, they are going to back their way out, but Lace is still around the corner. Nobody in the Radiant Triangle to hunt down. They'll hold that position, though. It seems like Rune Eaters now just... I suppose you just kind of want to control the map and keep all lanes shoved in.
Yeah, they get a good read from Na'Vi, knowing something's up, with everyone disappearing off the map, managed to bail out of that top area, leading to Rune Eater's smoke to not finding kill. They take over the triangle a bit, but they don't have the position to take that top tier 1, so they don't even find an objective off the back of it. Na'Vi, they're getting some time, right? They're waiting through that Aegis timing here for TA2000. They're building into that BKB for V-Tune, which is only about 300 gold away. And once you're up there, it feels like Navi's just going to be gunning with the double BKBs on the course. They even have the Ags up now on no one. So they've got that Nimbus to work, prevent that split push. Really good foil to what the Enigma and, to an extent, the AM Beastmaster would want to do here, of course. So they can control their lanes now while going for their own aggression from Navi's end. They just need that spell immunity for V-Tune, although...
Hookshot. Kaori, he did get spotted. Raw will be committed. However, Kaori is going to die no matter what. They can find Sweet and Strong, but no, he's going to be just fine. He got an Invis Rune and just backs his way out. So take the easy pick off here for Na'Vi, and that'll be enough for them. Kind of get that momentum swinging back their way. The Rune Eaters, again, I feel like they're still very happy with the way this game's gone, though. Like TA2000, like you mentioned, John, farming like an absolute champion right now on the anti-mage. And it seems like Navi are the ones now to try and get aggressive as they do smoke up towards the top lane. They do spot the Enigma, but Arrow does blink TP away, and he's going to be just fine. And it seems like Navi will get nothing out of this smoke rotation.
They smoked under a Hawk on that triangle. Vision advantage for Rune Eaters is pretty easy to maintain with a Beastmaster here. I mean, you've got a decent enough way of also scouting around the map. With Sweet and Strong, it's just not quite the same presence. So they get to bail out, but this is time where Rune Eaters is just playing defensively with Aegis. Right? Like, you've got the AM just kind of farming up. You're securing that farm with the Aegis, but you're not getting much more off besides that slight pressure in the bot tier tree. So this will allow Navi to just, again, patiently play the game. Wait for further itemization, full BKB up on V-Tune. If a wider fight breaks out, as long as you can handle the Enigma, it doesn't feel like you're going to burst down V-Tune like you did last time. Although,
mid lane, they've got the Beastmaster. Funnick will try to survive through this, but with this Nimbus combination, it's very, very difficult. Funnick can try to run, but the slows are there now. And, well, actually, Sweet and Strong, he's the one in trouble now. Funnick, he's going to walk out of there. Into the mid lane they go. They'll even find Lace and the Viper. I can't believe Funnick survives that.
Essence Ring, he had creeps to hit the Nimbus. He had enough to kind of bail out. I mean, you have a lot of attack speed with an Inner Beast, of course, on your summon, so it's not too tough for the Beastmaster itself to kind of deal with that. And again, really good use of that Essence Ring to just stay alive. Not quite enough burst coming out there from the combination of Navi. Aegis does expire, but just look at the map. It just feels better for Rune Eaters. Yeah. Net worth is equalized despite the kill deficit. The AM starting to become this really scary threat now. And Navi, we haven't seen them group up to take this fight. It's all been pickoffs. They've been playing with a Hookshot Nimbus and Thunder God's Rat combination with a Zeus Clockwork. But the threat of Rune Eaters just being able to fight back is growing bigger and bigger. And I like this itemization from TA2000. Just goes for the BKB. He knows he's up against Zeus Viper. Even the Jakiro can be annoying. So go for the spell immunity, jump in these fights, and just whittle them down. Like, with that BKB up, you're relying solely on V-Tune, and if V-Tune just doesn't get a good Wukong soft or doesn't get follow-up on him, it's hard for him to just kind of handle the AM by himself if he's isolated.
It truly is a very impressive performance so far by Rune Eaters here. Again, John, just such a rough start for this team, but now in the lead and looking very, very strong. Navi, they'll try to defend that bot tier 3 tower, and well, against the Viper, it's not going to be that easy to try and take this tower down. They don't seem to want to try and go for a dive either. You don't have anything like a blink on Funnick to try and get in there with the Raw right now, so he won't bother trying. Instead, they might just focus their attention towards the mid-tier 2 tower. And those last team fights have been working out in their favor anyway, so they must be feeling quite confident to force another. Especially if they can find no one again with this anti-mage. And well, TA2000 with the BKB up now, not going to have too many issues just kind of blinking in and just taking out the Zeus pretty much on his own with that BKB timing. For now though, Rune Eaters, again, just trying to maintain that lead, control the map and keep all the lanes shoved in. And RV just on the defensive for now, and for Rune Eaters, this is just a great position. You do have an AM after all. Like, this guy loves hitting creeps. He could do this all day.
Yeah, and this is where you start to look back at that Midas pickup for V-Tune, right? If he went for a battle for himself, it feels like you're going to be able to equalize and keep up with the AM better, although
here we go. V-Tune, he'll tree jump. He'll be fine for now as the Thunder God's Wrath does fly through. Rune is very calm here, not being startled. Hold their position and eventually just kind of back their way out, not feeling quite as comfortable as Navi. Do the exact same thing, just get to the low ground of that Radiant Triangle. Rune Eaters, though, they are looping around the long way as Sweet and Strong, I believe, was spotted out there for a moment, but is going to be just fine. Meanwhile, Funnick is starting to slowly move in, but they really want no one on that Zeus. Hookshot is going to be out, but they've only caught an illusion. It's just an illusion being caught out, so Rune Eaters, they definitely want the fight now. It's perfect timing as they will blink in with TA2000, but find nobody in the tree line yet. They're looking for no one. There's going to be a smoke out from Na'Vi to try and hide that position and reset, but TA2000, he does blink in and find Lace here on the Viper, breaking the smoke with the Glimmer Cape. Gonna buy a bit of time as Vincere will move in. They found fighting with the Black Hole. It's gonna come out, catching two of them. There's nothing to cancel. Arrow will finally go down, but Vincere, he's in such big trouble and will drop as TA2000. He'll chase down no one. In the meantime, the rest of Na'Vi just falling apart as they've lost Lace, they've lost Sweet and Strong, and they should lose no one. He'll keep trying to jump away, but I don't think there's any way out of this one. TA2000, he'll keep chasing him down and eventually will secure the kill. Oh, it's a rough team fight for Na'Vi, John. Everything going wrong for him.
Yeah, it's tough. They had no angle for the hook shot. Rune Eaters managed to group around the Enigma really well to get caught off guard. And Navi, we're trying to be cheeky with a smoke out, but the mobility DM just cancels that off. And now Rune Eaters have that avenue to just go for Roche. Like this Roche number 2, no contest from Navi. They expended nearly everything in that last engagement. No one's up to contest. And I mean, Rune Eaters, they just play so well. They play patiently, they find a hole in Navi, and they manage to punish that overconfidence. And you just look back at the build-up. The Monkey King with Midas, he can't keep up with AM's farm. The Midas felt great early. You're still getting return on your investment, but you're not farming as much as you would on Vincere if he had, say, the Battle Fury build-up. He'd be able to clear out the creeps much faster as well, work the lanes a little bit faster. It's just a lot slower to kind of handle that farm that TA2000's managed to build up for himself. Going into the Scotty next, nothing to stop this AM. You have no BKB piercing stun here from Navi's end, so that's always going to be a massive issue when he does blink in. And even the BKBs on Rune Eaters cancels out the damage for your Zeus and Viper. You're mainly magical right now on Navi with your supports as well. So it does feel like all the scaling now is just dumping onto Vincere. At some point, the Zeus feels relevant again, especially once you say work your way into a refresh, maybe an Octarine, and BKBs whittle down to 6 seconds. Until those items are up, though, it just doesn't feel like you're going to be able to do enough here on no one. And Rune Eaters, they're just feeling comfy. 10k lead after a 7k deficit. It's tough to see how Navi can kind of execute back considering the choices they've made, as the push potential for Rune Eaters is just way too scary onto the high ground. You could hold infinitely with Zeus Jakiro, though, so we might find ourselves into a bit of a tougher, longer game if they do manage to defend properly in Navi.
Here we go again, John. Rune Eaters, they're going to move into the high ground. Mid-tier 3 tower under siege. How do you defend this? Ice Path will fly out, but that'll only delay things. The Hawk Dive is going to be there. TA2000, no hesitation, will jump in. Secure the kill into the Jakiro. Vincere does have a Shadow Blade up now and is trying to make his way over to the AM. Wukong's command will fly out. Boundless Strike is there with the Nimbus and the hook shot. They've got the first line. Can you get the second? Keep in mind, Black Hole up in 3 seconds. It's a dangerous team fight now. There's Navi. They're going to lose one already. Can they get anything else? Hawk Dive is there onto the Monkey King. They've lost Vincere. Oh, it's a very tough fight now. Without your Pos 1 Monkey King, he's down for a full minute here, John. And for Rune Eaters, they should be easily able to just get in there and take the mid-rats.
Yeah, they've got the damage. They've got Horus to get this done. Navi. And they still have the Thunder God's Nimbus on a bit of a cooldown, but without that damage here,
Black Hole, he's caught no one. That's the mid. Zeus getting caught out, and another toss back onto the Viper. No one, he can't go anywhere. He will drop. Maybe the Viper, though, can clean up. He does take down the CM and might even find Haze in the Tiny. You do get something for your trouble, but TA2000, he's not done yet. Looking for that Viper. He's going to back off eventually. As they do walk away with one. Rax is now, well, there is a jump in. Sweet and Strong going in on his own here, and well, he gets taken down. I'm not sure if the idea was there from our Clockwork.
Yeah, maybe looking for a solo pickoff. Doesn't quite find it, gets punished. Tries to glimmer under the sentry. And all of a sudden, Rune Eaters are way ahead in this game. 14k advantage. Mid Rax gone for Navi. It feels like it's just so difficult for them to deal with that spell means, to deal with a team fight that we are seeing from Rune Eaters. Like, yeah, Clockwork's great against Enigma. But if you just clump around your Enigma, protect him with your bodies for the Black Hole, doesn't matter. And Iroh's been finding some great angles clumped up with his team to kind of enable that. You've got great BKB piercing with the Beastmaster as well. Navi just has no solution to all the BKBs that come out from Rune Eaters. They can handle one life on TA2000, but it takes them all their ults. So the Aegis definitely just buying him enough time there. Full Scotty up, Basher up, going into the Butterfly. Once that Butterfly is up, like even a Monkey King can't deal with him.
Solo actually gets an Ice Path off into TA2000 here, but again, there's not really going to be much follow-up. All damage rune going to be spotted out here by Rune as well, so TA2000 will happily take that for himself, and immediate smoke up, of course. They want to make full use of this double damage. Got to find themselves a target here. RV. At the very least, don't have to fight against the black hole, but that's kind of the least of your worries right now. Funnick's the real problem. No one. Already down. Sweet and strong. He could not help him out. Now the cavalry comes onto the Viper. They'll take him down easily. Lace is gone. No one bought back for this. They might be forced to call it. V-Tune. He's gone. No one dies back immediately. They call it. NAVI. They end up losing game number 1 to Rune Eaters. Jonathan, this is the team at the bottom of the bracket right now. Rune Eaters pulling out a surprise right out of the bag, and NAVI maybe a little bit too cocky going into this game number 1, Jonathan. Maybe just a little bit too confident.
Yeah, look, they had a great start in Navi. We were seeing why a lot of people might have favored them coming into this matchup, right? Like they had this insanely great start, 7-0 start. They had a 7K lead, 4K lead at some point early on. And then they take a couple of bad fights and it just comes tumbling. Like, they didn't respect that potential from Rune Eaters. They felt like they had counters to all of that team fight. They really didn't. They played around Hour really well, and some of those black holes grouping up very nicely to prevent any sort of hookshot play. Beyond hookshot, you had nothing to pierce through the BKB. And even the itemization, like we talked about, Mike. V-Tune went for the Midas because he was owning so early on, but that meant he wasn't able to keep up with farm with the AM. Unless the entire team was really keeping Rune Eaters down, eventually the AM was going to outfarm, and he did by a huge mile there.
Incredible, Jonathan. It's very rare you get to see an anti-mage win a game these days, but there you go. They've made it work, Rune. It is very, very good to see. Can they make game number 2 work, though, John? That is the real question, as we are going to head off to a very short break, and right after that break, we'll be back with our panel for game number 2 draft. We'll see you then.
Hello and welcome back. We're here to analyze this game between Navi and Rune Eaters. I had a group of panelists that were doubtful, telling me before the game, and even thank you, Lizard, and after the game that it was impossible. That Rune Eaters was outclassed. I heard the word "wash" being thrown around here a couple of times, but I look at the score, guys, and I don't know why, but Navi seems to lose the first game. Trent.
Listen, I told you what the guy does who wants to carry his team. I told you the 3 heroes.
You're right.
All right? I told you it's Anti-Mage, it's Alchemist, it's Invoker. He picked his Anti-Mage. He waited for his moment, carried his team.
I have to touch on this, though, because I need to know. What position is this player playing, Trent?
Oh, they just pick a core role. That's what all the good carriers of the stack need to have their core role, right? They just play mid or they play carry. It just depends on the game.
Okay.
There's no other. All of those Reddit posts. I went from 4K to 6K playing only position 5. Get out of here, man.
Just got carried for 2K MMR. I mean, it's fine.
Exactly.
Congrats. Nobody's proud of you, though.
Just get yourself a position 1 anti-mage like TA did in that last game, and you're gonna get some good games, good MMR. Like that's insane, by the way. What?
Yeah.
No one would have expected. Yeah. Or Beast. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point because I feel like Funnick also had an incredible impact that game. Navi also had a negative impact towards themselves, but let's talk about TA and Funnick mostly. Funnick's that turning point in the top fight near the Roche pit, which was kind of the turning point of the whole game. And then Funnick proceeded to choke him out completely in the rest of the game with his Hawks and his initiations. He's been popping off, hasn't he, Trent?
Yeah, he certainly has. He's looked very strong coming into the team, and they waited for their moment, and they really that's strong. They really needed it to be like a perfect storm of a moment, and they got it. It was the big fight. It was the Roche, and suddenly all of Navi's control in this match was just gone. And then you start looking at their lineup, and something that you're like, oh, these are good meta heroes. They're really strong right now. I can see them just snowballing and pushing this. And then you're like, oh, yeah, now that you're behind, this doesn't look so hot, huh?
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Lizard.
The way the game started as well. I'm watching. I see Clockwork getting kills. Mid lane, 26 versus 10 CS. Safe lane, funny, kind of doing all right, but only him. I'm like, this game it's gonna be over quickly, right? Like
It was done.
it was done. Navi's got this. Suddenly, yeah, one Roche fight, and okay, they have just been wiped, and they also gave Aegis to AM. Nice. it's over, but in the other direction. Yeah, I didn't expect it to happen. But one thing needs to what we can say about the game is team fight on the side of Navi obviously wasn't that amazing, right? Like overall, and versus an AM, they did have ways of getting on top of him, but no ways of locking him down for that extended period of time that you need. Plus, you didn't have heroes that itemized for items that extend that control, like a hex or something like that. You didn't have that as well. So you really have to stay in front. But still, though, I thought they could do it, and it looked like they could do it. But sometimes you throw a little bit. It happens.
Yeah, but they still have another chance, right? They still can do it if they win game number 2. That's the first obstacle in their way towards victory. And that game number 2 will be happening shortly. So if you guys want to watch that, actually, no. You guys want to watch that, therefore, stay here. We're going to go to a small break, but we will be back with game 2 between Navi and Rune Eaters. So stay tuned.